It's Monday, the 8th of July, and you are watching the Monday edition of Primetime News. Many thanks for joining us for this week's first edition. I'm Salima Shimwe-Feleni Masipa. Leading tonight's bulletin, President Nangolo Mbumba has encouraged all Christians to support modern-day mission work through financial contributions, volunteering, and involvement in church activities. Let's get some context from our lead report compiled by Gabriel Thomas.
Namibia is predominantly a Christian nation. However, as president, I am representing all Namibians within the spirit of Article 21(1)(c) of the Namibian Constitution. This article accords Namibians the right to practice the religion of their own choices, which means that no one can force anyone to believe or belong to a particular faith or church or denomination. It is pertinent that all citizens understand this point, the freedom they have. In the book of Mark 10, verse 45 reads as follows: "For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." A ransom for all of us. End of quote. We should endeavor to live out our faith by adhering to the biblical teachings and reflecting compassion, love, and support to our neighbors and those in need, as demonstrated by earlier missionaries.
First Lady Susiki Mbumba on Saturday handed over blankets and food items to senior citizens living in the Tobias Hainyiko constituency in Windhoek. The event, organized by the Omkai Namibia Trust, saw the attendance of close to 100 senior citizens and some persons living with disabilities.
The event, organized by the Omkai Namibia Trust, saw the attendance of close to 100 senior citizens and some persons living with disabilities. In her address, Mbumba lashed out at young people who abandon and leave their children in the care of the elderly. Mbumba remarks that all young people do is give birth and dump their children to the elders, who are now burdened as they have to use the old age pension that was meant to help them to sustain the whole family. She added that it is unfair because they also have their lives. She further said that she wants the young people to appreciate the elderly, calling on them to take care of the elderly and respect them. She also called on parents to talk to their children and guard them against the consumption of alcohol and drugs. The handing over of items followed a wellness session for the pensioners, which included massaging their feet. Omkai Trust founder Saima Shanika said the trust was founded in March 2022 to empower the less fortunate by identifying young, brilliant children from marginalized communities and sending them to school. Konjeni Ambinga reporting for Primetime News.
On to some crime updates. The Namibian police force has confirmed the seizure of drugs and arrests made during the month of June. Konjeni Ambinga has more on this story.
In a media statement issued by Nampol Deputy Commissioner Kauna Shikwambi on Monday, 112 suspects have been arrested in connection with illicit selling of drugs such as mandrax, cannabis, and crack cocaine. The statement further indicates that 106 of the arrested suspects are Namibian nationals, while one is an Angolan national, 2 Tanzanians, 1 Zambian, and 2 Zimbabwean nationals. Shikwambi noted that the total weight of seized cannabis was 191,837.97 kg, while mandrax was 2,285 full tablets and 5 units of crack cocaine. The value of these drugs has, however, not been determined. Konjeni Ambinga reporting for Primetime News.
Meanwhile, 6 murders were recorded across Namibia over the weekend, the Namibian police force has revealed. Sylvia Hashondali has more on this story.
According to NAMPO spokesperson Deputy Commissioner Kaunashi Kwambi, a 23-year-old man was allegedly fatally stabbed in the early hours of Sunday in Swakopmund's Mondesa residential area. Furthermore, in Groot Hoop, a 21-year-old man was allegedly stabbed to death in the early hours of Sunday. The incident happened at a local bar after the deceased and the 17-year-old suspect argued about money. In a separate incident at Korihas, an 18-year-old man allegedly stabbed a 36-year-old man with a kitchen knife on Friday evening. Police in the Khomas region are also investigating a murder charge following the death of a 32-year-old Grant Piekus. It is alleged that he was stabbed on Saturday with a kitchen knife and was declared dead at the Windhoek Central Hospital. Meanwhile, an unknown man was allegedly fatally stabbed with a bottle in Windhoek's Vanaeda residential area on Friday. Police in Ondangwa are investigating a murder-suicide incident after a 38-year-old man allegedly killed his 34-year-old girlfriend on Friday. All deceased next of kin have been informed of their deaths. Sylvia Hashandali reporting for Primetime News.
Stay tuned for your top roundup with the business segment thereafter. Welcome to the Primetime Biz segment, your premier source for all things business related. We kickstart the segment with the agro sector, with the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform announcing an outbreak of lumpy disease in the Ochituo and Okamatapati villages of the Okakarara constituency, with some restriction measures imposed on the movement of cattle.
The Ministry's Acting Chief Veterinary Officer in the Department of Veterinary Services, Dr. Johannes Chopala, in a media statement on Friday said 8 cattle were diagnosed with the disease at the villages. Lumpy skin disease is a vector-borne infectious disease that is occasionally fatal for cattle, especially when they are characterized by nodules on their skin. It is normally transmitted by insect bites. He said, therefore, all cattle showing clinical signs should receive vitamins, anti-inflammatory drugs, as well as antibiotics to control the secondary bacterial infection. Chopala further urged farmers in the Okakarara constituency to vaccinate their healthy cattle with a plan to control the vector. He added that to safeguard the commercial meat industry, the Directorate of the Veterinary Services has also instituted movement measures on cattle by ensuring that cattle moving from the affected areas should not show signs of the lumpy skin disease and that they should be vaccinated 21 days before their movement is effected from the affected areas. Cattle that are moving into the affected areas should be vaccinated 21 days before their movement as well, for the Directorate to contain the disease, he added. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba.
Staying atop the agro sector, Governor of the Oshana region, Elia Irimari, has urged the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform to render assistance in quelling land grabbing in the region as it poses a threat to farmers. Irimari made this statement during the official opening of the ministry's week-long annual work plan and management workshop being held in Oshakati earlier this morning. Here's an insert from the workshop.
We are, like any other region, we are also faced with the land issues. Through your ministry, more especially the Directorate of Land, we have confronted issues which has emanated from land conflict. You know, there are also land grabbing more especially in our pristine area of Ombuga. And I do not know whether you will have to take them just for them to go and see, the beauty nature has provided to Oshana. And that area, as we are talking now, every day there are massive fencing, whereby people go and fence off land, of course, which will in future will give problems to our farmers, because there might be no more land for farming, more especially for grazing and so on. So it's my call that we need your support in this effort for us, to implement measures, as to curb this land grabbing in the region. It's way beyond imaginations, and that will give a threat to farmers in future. It could be that people might no longer have land where they can, freely graze their animals. Inasmuch I appreciate that grazing land area, the government effort in installing, more especially the water pump station, that's a welcome relief to the farmers in that part of the region.
This is what constituted tonight's top segment. It's now a look at what the weather has in store for us tomorrow in the weather report, followed by a roundup of the latest economic news. Welcome to Sport Planet. We commence tonight's segment with Tour de France action. Eritrean sprinter Binyam Girmay won stage 8 of the Tour de France on Saturday at a finish line in the village where former French President Charles de Gaulle lived and is buried. AFP brings us the highlights.
Girmay became the first black African to win a stage on the Tour de France on stage 3. Overnight leader Tadej Pogacar retained his 33-second lead over Remco Evenepoel in the general standings, while defending champion Jonas Vingegaard is third. Girmay's second stage win after his historic triumph at Turin early on Monday extended his lead atop the best sprinter standings in the green jersey. The final sprint was raced up an incline that favoured the more slightly built sprinters, even though Jasper Philipsen, the 2023 green jersey, came second, while Belgian 22-year-old Arnaud Delis was third. Reporting for Sport Planet, I'm Michael Madimba.
Congratulations to Girmay for making the continent proud. On to some Euro action. With 5 Euros titles between them, Spain and France face off in Tuesday's semi-finals in Munich, hoping to extend their respective bids for another triumph. Spain could win a record-breaking 4th Euros crown, while France would join the Spanish and Germany on 3 titles should they go all the way. In the shadows of the Germans and Italians for much of the 20th century, France and Spain have become the 2 most successful nations at major tournaments in recent decades. Since France won the World Cup in 1998, only 4 of 13 World Cup or Euro finals have featured neither of the 2 sides. Spain have 2 Euros titles and a World Cup in that time, while France have become world champions twice and won Euro 2000. Stay tuned for your sports roundup. This concludes your Monday's edition of Primetime News. Many thanks for tuning in. Do make time to join us tomorrow for another engaging edition. Before I sign off, a reminder to follow the on-screen prompts and subscribe to the Nampa TV platform to stay updated on developments shaping the global village. On behalf of myself, Salima Shumwefeleni Masipa, and the crew behind the scenes, it's good night.
According to Nampo spokesperson Deputy Commissioner Kaunashi Kwambi, a 23-year-old man was allegedly fatally stabbed in the early hours of Sunday in Swakopmund's Mondesa residential area. Furthermore, in Groot Oop, a 21-year-old man was allegedly stabbed to death in the early hours of Sunday. The incident happened at a local bar after the deceased and the 17-year-old suspect argued about money. In a separate incident at Korihas, an 18-year-old man allegedly stabbed a 36-year-old man with a kitchen knife on Friday evening. Police in the Khomas region are also investigating a murder charge following the death of a 32-year-old Grant Piekus. It is alleged that he was stabbed on Saturday with a kitchen knife and was declared dead at the Windhoek Central Hospital. Meanwhile, an unknown man was allegedly fatally stabbed with a bottle in Windhoek's Vanaeda residential area on Friday.
Police in Ondangwa are investigating a murder-suicide incident after a 38-year-old man allegedly killed his 34-year-old girlfriend on Friday. All deceased next of kin have been informed of their deaths. Sylvia Hashandali reporting for Primetime News.